I am very honored to have Mike Taylor, owner and founder of KeyBar in Savannah, Georgia. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Hey, how's it going? Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for doing it. I actually met Mike last week. He contacted us about a Tornos Swiss machine. We're selling a GT26. Um, and then got to learn about his company, and it seems like it's really a special thing. And people in our audience, they're always interested in learning about other companies that have products. um, I think some people consider that like the holy grail. If only I had a great product, and then but obviously there's positives and negatives about everything. Um, so just to get started, I want to get a quick summary of what a key bar is, and then we'll talk a little bit about the story of it, and then I'll
Yeah.
then I'll
So,
then I'll then I'll grill you about uh, the specifics.
so yeah, KeyBar is basically like a multi-tool style key holder. So it's a key holder, comes in all different types of non-ferrous metals, where you can get everything from aluminum up to titanium and whatever your choices are there. And inside of it, you put your keys. So you take it apart and you put your keys inside of it, and it's expandable. So you can put more keys, less keys. And then we make I'd say about 30 different tools to go into it. And as you know, we're always adding different accessories and different things to add to it. It has a pocket clip. So the full size key bar comes with a pocket clip, and there's 3 pocket clip options for your preference carry. And yeah,
Well,
and
for people listening, and most of the people on this are listening, correct me if it's not a very good way of summarizing it, but it kind of reminds you of a Swiss Army knife, but no blades, but keys. Maybe a blade thrown in here. But
yeah, so there's
that's how it opens up. It's like you switch it up, and there's a different key or a different tool. Would you
yep.
say that's a good way of putting
So
it?
perfect example, but kind of like a jackknife. You think of a jackknife or a folding knife, right? The key bar kind of started because I got into custom knives and making pocket knives, and and I wasn't a very good knife maker, and I was like, man, but I can make a key holder, right? So um, just getting started, that was what I did, and actually worked in the hotel industry
Right.
and did that for
I love this story. So yeah, give us the origin now. You were working in a hotel.
yeah. Well, I didn't even actually tell you the whole story. It's on my website, but basically one day I went to the restroom and I went to a 10 stall, and I dropped my pants, and 3 stalls down somebody said, "Hey Mike, when we going to lunch?" And
But
so right then,
you were working as the head of maintenance at a hotel.
yeah, I was a director of engineering for 4 hotels at the time, something like that, and so I
So
ran
you
the
had a
maintenance
lot of
departments.
keys. You had a lot of keys. You
Had
were
15 keys and screwdrivers and all kind of stuff, and mainly the keys. And so everywhere I went, I was holding my keys, and they were jingle jangling, right? So, but yeah, when I that day, when he asked me when we were going to lunch from 3 stalls down, I was like, yeah, I'm going to fix this problem. And another issue I was having is I would go into the shop kind of like this, and everybody would be working, and no matter what I did, they're like, and when I got in there, it wasn't a lot of work to be done. And so they would hear me coming, and they would just all hustle to start working because they heard my keys. So it was really funny. But yeah, I had a problem and I solved it, and all of a sudden everybody wanted them, and it just kind of exploded that first couple of years. And at the time, I didn't know anything about machines. So we're on a machining podcast, right? And
But,
I had zero knowledge of a
but
end mill.
back
Go
up,
ahead.
Mike. Back up. So, okay, you had this problem, and then you went home one day, and what were you looking at a pocket knife, and then envisioned keys instead? Is what
Okay,
was the
this is a whole nother podcast.
fair enough?
This
Fair
actually
enough.
it did start with pocket knives, and I actually okay. So it was all pocket knives. There was a contest of carve a pumpkin, show a video of you carving it, what knife you use, and you could win all these. It was like $6,000 worth of knives from about 30 different people. Long story short, I carved a pumpkin underwater and won all these knives. And then and then I was introduced into the knife world,
All right.
and then so I was like, this is amazing. And one of those things I won was a trip to Blade Show. So that's like our IMTS, right? Knife. It's the biggest knife show in the world. Every maker, anybody who's anybody in the knife industry is at this show, and I got thrown into it. I got to see all these different processes and heard about things, machines and tools and materials I have never heard of before, and so I took some material home and I made a KeyBar out of it. And so then everybody wanted a KeyBar, and then it became a business, which I was never expecting it to be. It was to solve my problem. And then when I was making more money at night grinding these things, because I was going to Home Depot and buying bar stock. Again, I was saying I didn't know what I didn't know what a machine was. I had
Sure.
no idea. So I was going to Home Depot buying bar stock, grinding it out on a 1x30 from Harbor Freight, drilling holes, tapping holes, and I was making these things by hand originally, and found out about water jetting, right? And then there was a company
Cool.
locally, he had a water jet, and he made them for me, and I still had to do all the corner radiuses and tapping and everything. Well, then I found out about CNC machines, and it just keeps going, and every day I'm learning about new stuff and
So, what was
new
your first
machines. And
machine? A Haas?
well, the first machine I bought was a laser engraver. It was a Epilog fiber laser engraver, so it was like the biggest one they make, and it was because I got a job. I was outsourcing my product to a local company, and at that time they were CNC machining them for me, and it was a local place, and we were finishing them, and a company needed their logo. At the time, I was doing everything with vinyl stickers and a sandblaster. It was, getting it done, but not perfect. And so this big company wanted their logos, and it was like, I'm going to go buy a machine to do that. And I didn't know anything about lasers at the time. Nobody knew what these lasers were capable of. And I started doing some really unique stuff on an Epilog fiber laser that nobody was doing. And then so that was my first piece of like equipment I bought. And then we exploded, and it became okay, we got to get out of my garage. And we were very blessed to be able to, after that first, I think it was a year and a half, 2 years, we bought this building, and we bought a VF4, and we bought two different, not this brand, but we bought two sets of real Gavo lasers, right? They weren't the gantry. The Epilog was a
And
gantry.
and
So
how
the
did you
first machine,
explode? How did you explode from social
Instagram.
media, Instagram?
Yeah, and this was Instagram was new. It was
What
kind of like
year?
it's 2012, 13. So
Right.
it was all new, and there was no throttling of post, right? So we gained a significant audience, and it was those audience saw our product, and it was very direct to the customer, right? There was no middleman. So nowadays you have to work a lot harder for those people to see, that your stuff. But anyway, that's a whole
Sure.
nother
Yeah, that's a
podcast
whole
again.
nother that is another podcast. We'll touch on that,
Yeah,
but
but so the VF4 was my first machine. Sorry to interrupt you.
no, I'm interrupting you a lot, but I just want to make sure, because we had such a great conversation before, and just want to make sure people don't miss anything.
Yeah, and I actually bought that machine, again, like I said, not knowing what an end mill was, not knowing what a collet was or anything, and basically sat it on my floor, and I was still having the local person outsource, and I had somebody write some programs and help me with a fixture, and and I learned, and within a couple months we were making our own aluminum parts, and it took me about a year to really start cutting titanium, but man, buying that first machine was scary because we didn't know what I didn't know what I was
And
doing.
you bought it used?
No, I bought it brand new.
Oh,
And
brand new. Okay.
yeah, we bought it new, fully optioned and all. And for what I was gonna buy a VF2, and the salesman was like, "Man, you might want to go with the bigger one." And I'm very grateful I did. It's been a rock solid machine. It's done everything I needed it for. And we actually just picked up a VF2 brand new as well. So I like my horses. They work for
Yeah.
me.
So okay, so everything's exploding, and you're you're a big fan of titanium.
Yeah, titanium. I really specialize in finishing titanium, and that's really what my passion is. Whether it be, everything we make is titanium, if we can make it out. If it doesn't need to be steel, like a hardened steel, like a knife blade, and it could be titanium, we make it titanium. Perfect example sitting in front of me is a simple one-piece titanium water jet lock. You push down on it, it springs up. No other material in the world is going to do that for you. And I can turn that blue, pink, green, whatever color
So
you
that's
want.
one of the reasons why you like titanium, just because it turns all kinds of cool colors. And
Well, the flexibility of it, it'll spring. And this is a carabiner we make. It is a one-piece titanium gate for the people that can't hear. And basically, we've added the tension into the gate by placing the holes in certain locations, right? And that gives you a spring. And so, yeah, the springiness of the titanium. Now, there's different grades, right? So if you don't need it to spring, you use grade 2. But we use grade 5 on anything that needs to spring or be hard. We even make titanium screwdrivers. So this is a number 2 Phillips titanium screwdriver.
and that would be one of the tools in the
Yep.
KeyBar. So
Yep.
okay, let's go over the KeyBar a little bit more in detail. So somebody has maybe, I don't know, 5 keys, and then what are some of the other things that would fit into one?
So this, like, we have a bunch of different tools. This is a lock plate for our mini razor blade. So a mini razor blade actually fits inside there, and it flips out of the KeyBar, and this is the spring lock to hold the blade in. So this would flip out, and you would replace the blade, close it, and you'd have a little mini razor blade sticking out. So we
Interesting.
have those screwdrivers, bottle openers, you name it, I probably have it. Actually, you named something the other day on our conversation.
Yeah, I will take credit. We I came up with a suggestion on the phone because one of our customers, we have this customer in Spain, and they gave us this gift of this letter opener in the shape of a sword, and it's one of our favorite things. So I said to Mike, "Do you have a letter opener?" And he said, "No."
I do not.
And
And then,
literally 1 week later, I went to the website. There is a letter opener option for the KeyBar. Now that is very impressive.
yeah, and that's one thing I'm very blessed to be able to do. Since we're not a job shop, we only make our own products. Um, if we, I love to come up with new stuff, whether that be we're making a skateboard or a sword, or one of our big
Right.
sellers is
So I want you to talk about that. I mean, one of the things that you've mentioned in your creative process is trying to learn new things and just trying to play. I mean,
yeah.
it seems to me like you've got a good staff that's doing, the production work, which frees you up to, you know, envision new things and uh and just mess around and come up and get things off the ground. But what's
Yeah. So
interesting is that you'll make some things that aren't even the key bar. So
yeah.
why do you do that, and what does that do for you to make a skateboard or a katana? Or take it back. Why do you do that, and what does that do for you mentally?
So I've been making key bars for 10 years. And if I stared at it, I'd have to learn something new every day. That's my personality. Um, I mean, I'm 100 miles an hour and I can't, and
That's
once I get
fantastic. That's
something,
fantastic, by the way. I mean, I feel
thinking,
exactly the same way. I try to write down at least one thing I learn every day, but
yeah.
it's amazing how few people have that philosophy. One of the things I ask on this show, every show, is what's something you learned last week? And I'd say 3/4 of the people are like, shoot, I haven't learned anything lately.
So the reason I'm talking to you is because I called you about a Swiss screw machine, right?
Yeah.
And I did that because I saw a video of my buddy talking about his Swiss screw machine. All my buddies have Swiss screw machines, and I'm like, man, I want a Swiss screw machine, right? And so right now I can tell you pretty much how the brands I'm interested in, everything works. Like I could pretty much answer any question you have, and I don't even have one, right? And it's because I dove head deep into Swisses for that full week because
You
it was
probably know
something
more than me. I
it
wouldn't
was
be
something
shocked.
new. When something's new and excites me, I really like to learn as much as I can. And then the next day, something else gonna pique my interest, and you're back to you were talking about employees. Yeah, I mean, I've I really like to perfect jobs and hire the right people to do those jobs and train them to do them right. So that's allowed me, to have the freedom to create. And my job is to grow my brand, is to get people to buy key bars, and it's to get them to click on my videos. And we have marketing people that post and make videos. But at the end of the day, I'm the one that built the brand. I'm the one that's going to have to
Wait,
make sure all the
hold
machines
on,
are
back
the
up
machines. Or
we back up the internet connection went bad. So you were saying you were the
oh,
one
sorry.
that that has to build the brand.
Yeah. So yeah, my job is to build the brand, right? To
Mm-hmm.
expand the brand. Think what's next, right? I don't have a huge marketing team or sales team out there chasing big orders, and I don't have a shop manager for every department, right? And so at the end of the day, I'm the business owner. If a machine breaks, if that laser breaks, I want to know how to fix it. When my guy calls, I need to get that machine working.
Mm-hmm.
um, and if they can't take care of it, it's got to
Well,
come to me. So
go back to you told me you made some skateboards out of titanium.
yeah, we got distracted.
Why did you make a
That
skateboard out of titanium when you're focusing on key bars?
okay, because at the end of the day, I can only make so many key bars. That's right. Like if I ran the machines nonstop 3 shifts, we have key bars coming out of our ears, right? I can speed these things up, slow them down. I could buy more machines, put 6 machines, make as many key bars as we want. But at the end of the day, if you have a key bar, or you love our brand and you love what we're doing and you want to support us, maybe you already have a bunch of key bars. Well, that's where one of our like pin holders comes in, or other products we make. And so stuff that's not key bars has nothing to do with the key bar. It gives us some other way to connect to customers. So skateboards, for instance, I made the skateboard. I actually made that skateboard because I had a piece of titanium laying around and it was
Hold it up.
fun.
Hold it up and give me some detailed description. Try to make it detailed for.
Yeah. So what I'm holding is 3/8 inch thick titanium billet plate, right? It is about 2.5 feet long, about 9 inches wide. It's completely honeycombed throughout on the water jet, and it has milling in the center with knurling and engraving on the laser. And it's got really nice longboard trucks. The back's done as well. It's flame anodized. It's electro anodized. It's got all the processes in it. And at the end of the day, it's about a $5,000 skateboard. And you ask, why do we do this? This skateboard was actually I made this skateboard to take to a trade show and put it on the counter, because at the end of the day, if this sitting behind the counter is going to stop somebody that might not stop because of the KeyBar, and then we have a conversation, and that conversation is, hey, I made that because I like to skateboard, right? And maybe a skateboard, somebody, now we're into the skateboard community, right? So I can now market to them with the skateboard, and it's just
you must have listened to our serendipity podcast. That's what they call a serendipity hook, where you say, hey, I'm Mike, I make KeyBars, but I'm also passionate about skateboarding. Boom. Absolutely. All of a sudden you have an entry into a whole nother conversation. But you do this because you make the skateboard because it excites you and because it gets your creative juices flowing. Would you say that?
Yeah. Now the reason I make them, I don't do it to, it's more for learning. It goes all back to learning. When I did that, I learned stuff my machine could do and couldn't do. And
that's awesome.
And I learned, matter of fact, that skateboard taught me, don't take stuff from the water jet to the CNC mill and expect the DXF files to mesh properly, right? Like, that was one of the first things, one of the first projects. And this was all, again, a lot of this stuff is me learning my machines. I haven't been actually machining my own parts, but for about 5 years. So a lot of that time is just learning what a machine is, right? So the first couple of years is just out the window. And then we keep adding different processes. So water jets, lasers, printing, and all these different things. And so we're always learning, and we're always learning. Like, I just learned, well, I've seen air spindles before, but I just really learned the capabilities of adding an air spindle to my Hoss.
What is an air spindle?
So Air Turbine makes a spindle, and it is a tool, a Cat 40 tool that goes right into your Hoss, and it runs at 65,000 RPM off of air pressure. I think they said up to two microns accuracy. The thing is ridiculous, and you can get them in all different sizes. You can even get them small and mount them on gantry, home built units. I mean, the possibilities in this, but it basically adds 60,000 RPM to my machine. And now I can do surfacing and engraving in titanium. Matter of fact, I just did a surfacing routine on this KeyBar, and it's like a 4-minute routine with a 60,000 RPM spindle. That's going to be down to like 2 minutes. And I'm learning about all this stuff, and I don't have it, but I'm, diving full into it to make sure, when we get, first thing you run into is your air compressor going to be able to keep up, right? That's what you just gotta, all these things. And I really like learning that stuff.
So well, you told me, I thought this was so cool. You said, when you were talking about the possibility of getting the Tornos, which, by the way, is the one thing you say you're not doing right now is making the screws for the KeyBars.
The only thing we don't make are the screws. Yes.
Okay. And you said the machine to you is almost like buying a new motorcycle or something.
It would be like buying a new motorcycle. I pretty much am not going to count on it making me money for a while, because I would have to learn how to use a Swiss machine. And by going into it, looking at it like that, I think that kind of helps me not rush, right?
Mhm.
Not try to force the machine to do something it's not going to do and break something and cause more damage, more
That's
delays.
quite a luxury because, you know, most
Right.
people, if they're gonna spend $100,000 for a machine, they're gonna wanna make some money from it pretty soon.
I'm very blessed to not have, yeah, if I did. So, obviously the water jet is a perfect example. Like, we knew it would make money immediately, but we kind of went into it like, look, we can outsource the parts that we're currently making until
Right.
we got it dialed, right? And that's kind of the way it is. I got a bunch of buddies with Swisses, and they can make my parts on their Swisses all day long for cheaper than I'm going to make them. Let's be honest, because I'm going to wear out tools faster than they are. I'm going to have mess ups that they're not having because they're pros. And so it's, at the end of the day, it would be cheaper for them to make my parts on a Swiss because that's what they do every day. Um, in the beginning, right? But
Yeah.
then once I learned that machine, man, now these tools that are in my head impossible to make are not impossible anymore. And in some cases, right? But then that also leads you down rabbit holes into new machinery that you've never even heard of before, and
Exactly.
more learning, and more learning, and being new to this, that I have learned about more machining capability, like different types of
Well,
machines in the past year.
so
Just,
what did you learn today so far?
oh, today I learned carbon fiber and composites. I learned a lot about that.
And
So we're
how
working.
did you learn about it? Were you
Well, we
researching it or
machined a little bit of it, and we said, "Hey, that's not what we were expecting or wanting." And then so we spent, half the day perfecting, basically a recipe to get a perfect finish on this new material that nobody's ever used before. It's basically somebody is making, right. Um, it's really, but that's what we did today. And I learned about a new printer this morning. So I got a new printer for labels, and I spent a couple hours figuring that out. And again, now that it's figured out, tomorrow I'll train my guy that does stickers and on that machine. And then when he has problems, he can call me. If I have problems, I call the guy I bought it from and say, "Hey, how do I fix this?"
that is
But
so interesting.
it's not taking away time from him doing what he was supposed to do, and now he's not and so yeah, I basically put out fires and build the brand, and that's kind of
So you
what.
said to me before, and I've heard this from a few other, we did a season a little while back about people with their own products. Um, you know, there was some similarities with your business model. One of the things they said was that feedback from customers was something that fueled them, fueled their ideas, and made improvements. So, explain a little about that.
I'm holding, yeah, just happened to be holding a carabiner in my hand that we make, and we just released this 2 weeks ago or something like that.
For people that
And,
don't have a good vocabulary,
it is a
explain.
billet aluminum carabiner
So, a
that hooks on a
carabiner
belt loop.
is okay.
It's like a belt loop clip, right? And it has a spring gate, and the spring gate in this case is titanium. And but the gate didn't sit perfectly flush inside the ramp here, and I knew it, right? And the customers immediately, I took the first picture of it and posted it, and 3 comments were, "Hey, that should, you should move that over so it's nice and flush." And I already knew, it was already it was actually already done in the program. But it was crazy to hear, immediately 3 customers saw a
So you had
problem.
already solved the problem, but you still put it out there.
Yeah, yeah, because I do story. It was a story or something where we're making it, and I'll show the process.
Okay, so for the people that don't know, a lot of our audience isn't
So
that familiar
okay, yeah.
with
So
social media. So explain a
basically,
story. First explain a
it's
story.
different.
First
It's
explain a
different
story and then explain
than a
how you
post.
use the story.
Yeah. So Instagram is what Facebook. It also goes to Facebook. So on Facebook, you have your main feed, and in Instagram, if you just click on it, you'll have pictures. Well, at the top, there's these little circles, and they're stories. And what they are is 15-second clips that you can upload, and they erase themselves after 24 hours. So like if there's something you want to show, but you don't want it to be like the main focus on your page, you put it on your story or what you're doing every day, right? You don't need these videos of me walking around the shop 10 times filling up my page. So you put them on the story. Our stories actually get like 5 times the traction that our feed does.
Do you think that those get more traction because people know that they might disappear and so they can't come back later?
I don't think it's that. I think I also breathe stories more than I do feeds, because the feed has been, it's very nitpicked of what you get to see, right? You don't get to actually choose, so it's what they want you to see is what you're seeing. And you notice
I'll be honest. I mean, I have Instagram, I have Facebook. I'm so busy with other stuff that I don't go them as much as I probably should. Most people would say the opposite, but
it's just a lot of
so
spam.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Like when you're on there, even if you're following somebody, their stuff doesn't always come up.
No, okay. Perfect example. I have almost 200,000 followers. When I post a picture, my last picture was only sent out to 3,000 of my followers. Only 3,000 of my followers were able to even see it if they happen to scroll by it.
Okay, but a story is different.
Story goes out. Yes, the story will. I'm assuming it is. There's something with the algorithm. Currently, it's IG video. This is a whole thing. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Currently, the reels. Now there's reels. Okay, there's a whole new thing. Reels are getting, again, 5 times the story tractions because Reels is trying to compete with TikTok. And so you're getting the Reels are promoted into the feed. So as you're scrolling the feed, you're seeing people's Reels. And so, but they get more. So everything we post now goes to a Reel because that's what's getting most traction.
Just so you know,
change tomorrow.
Just so you know, those guys, I mean, Big Brother they're watching where I've gone to the website, and when I've gone to Instagram, you guys have popped up on the Instagram. Your advertisements have popped up on the Instagram, and I've never, and I'm not following you.
Yeah, and that's
because you have a staff of 3 people that are just on this stuff. You have a dedicated staff just for Instagram or just for social media.
Yeah. There's 3 people.
You say you don't have a lot of advertising staff, but to me, that's a lot of advertising stuff.
Well, they have multiple jobs, right? But yeah, I mean, there is multiple things those people do. But yeah, so it's a lot. Somebody that's doing really well, I'm going to go ahead and give him a shout out on this podcast. Octane Work Holding. So this is a guy that came onto Instagram about a year ago, and he started showing his manual mill tricks. Okay, old timers don't show their tricks. And that's a thing, And this guy started showing everything. He showed you how to balance a pipe with the end mill. I mean, all this stuff. And there's simple 10-second videos of just simple little machine shop tricks. Put tape here, put a spring here to hold the clamp up. I mean, these little things.
Yeah.
I just clicked on it. His videos are now getting 500,000 views or likes. Okay, likes. Right. People are actually hitting likes. And he, and so,
he's not out to sell anything. He
sells chip guards. So now he makes smart. He made a really nice chip guard that goes into any machine. He's got them in different sizes and they fill the T-slots. And so you have a rubber basically my T slots are full, and so chips don't get down in them anymore. And when you want to put something there, you just pull the rubber strip out. And so that was a product he made, and he started doing these Instagram videos, kind of promoting his stuff. Same thing, right? Getting the traffic, and then, hey, guys, guess what? I sell this. You know what I mean? But they're really watching for the machine tricks, and but then they see his awesome inventions, and like,
Brilliant.
I'm going to support that guy. You know, I don't care what he sells. I'm going to spend the $20 and buy whatever that trinket is just to support him, because I've been watching his videos for a year and I appreciate what he's doing, you know. And anyway, so, you know, he's getting tons of views for followers he doesn't even have. So, like we were talking, does Instagram put it out? I only had a small number of my viewers see it, because we're getting throttled, and it's because of the market we're in, and the pictures we post have weapons in them, some of them, because that's our industry, right? Guns and knives. And so we get throttled, and so we have to work really hard around that, and be very careful what we post. But in his case, he's going viral on his post across different platforms, whether that be TikTok and whatever, and they're making their way back to his Instagram. So it all comes down to, you know, it's an algorithm thing. So it's a hit, you know,
Right. It's a game.
It's a game, but it's mainly, what I've learned, you know, is if you put out informational content that can benefit somebody in some way, you know, that is going to get you a lot better views than anything else, right? Showing how something's done, or explaining something, or why something's done, is usually going to be 10 times better than just showing a picture of this black Cerakoted KeyBar. You know, what would do a lot better was showing it getting the Cerakote sprayed onto it and why it gets baked, you know, or whatever, right? So, sorry, we get off topic. I'm like
no,
I
this
said,
is totally on topic, because I'm trying to learn something myself, and I'm trying to have people read and listen to something that they don't even know about. I mean, I look,
yeah,
I like to think that I'm semi young still, but I live under a rock, and I think that a lot of our listeners, they're just absorbed in what they're doing and don't know as much about the game. You,
it's a very intriguing game,
I mean,
and I learn more
tell me
about
a
it every
quick.
day.
I'm sure, because it's changing every day.
Mm-hmm.
Just what was that stat you said the other day about? There was a company that invested what
Oh yeah,
3 million in
4.9
4.9 million in social, in
one
influencers,
year.
and then they made
So
50 million.
50 million. So there was an interview with and people that are listening may have heard of them as Rockform wallets, and basically they're a company that outsources overseas and has their wallet made, and they're basically, I like to think of companies like this as marketing companies that sell a product, right?
Yeah.
Because their main job is to market the product. They don't have to worry about making it, and so they get to just create new designs and sell it. Well, they really hit it out the ballpark, and they spent 4.9 million on YouTube influencers alone. Is from the interview I
So
heard, right? And
for the people here that don't exactly know what an influencer is, um, would you say it's basically somebody who has
celebrity.
has a gazillion followers,
Yeah.
who's, for some reason, they're an authority about something?
Yeah, and it's niche marketing too, right? Like, they don't have to have huge followers, just be prominent in their market, whether that be cars or makeup or whatever, right? If they're
And do
making a
you
bunch of
pay those
videos,
people? Do you pay
we do,
influencers?
we do, and I I like to pay people that I watch. So
If you
um,
pay somebody, does that guarantee you that they're going to give a good
yeah,
review?
well, no, we don't do reviews. Reviews, we just give product out. So if somebody wants a review, we'll give you KeyBar for review. We don't care. We don't
No,
tell you
no,
what.
but I mean, when you tell when you tell an
But when I pay
influencer,
them, I'm paying for I'm usually paying for a marketing spot, right? So I'm paying for 30 seconds at the beginning or the end or whatever the agreement is. And they're going to just say, hey, this video is sponsored by KeyBar. Go check them out. And you'll see that 9 times out of 10 in most big channels YouTube videos now. So that price can range from $2,000 to $30,000 a video, and those are real numbers. The big channels are 30 grand is for 30 seconds, and so it gets into really big numbers. But the return is obviously there. But is it hitting the right demographic? You have to do your research, right? But in this case, this company just threw it out there to everybody, and it paid off big because they hit home runs with some and they lost with others, and it balanced out,
but
and they did
you don't
really
have
well.
you don't have any desire to do that.
I mean, that's not who we are. We spend our money on new machines and building our brand that way and making new stuff and coming out with the next thing. Whereas, and we spend a lot of money on marketing, but I would know, I'm not. Yeah,
That's spamming.
we have a plan. Yeah, we're not. I pick people. I do pay many influencers, and I pick people that I want to work with. Right. I don't want to. I race motorcycles, so I sponsor a lot of motocross guys. Some of the old Metal Militia guys, and all these. So so all these markets that I like doing. I like fishing. I like hunting. So the people I watch, I'll reach out to them and say, I really like your stuff. And it's not
and you think that and you think that those people have an audience that would be your audience. Although personally, I think your product seems like something that everybody could use. Which is pretty awesome.
It is. But when it comes down to it, I don't have that company I talked about had a team of 10 people that did nothing but searched YouTube channels. Right. And we just don't have that. We don't have 10 people to sit around looking for who who can we contact today to send
I have a few specific things. Okay, so so you can just say you have a KeyBar already. You could say you could see the letter opener feature on there and buy that letter opener and put it on your KeyBar, right?
From anyone we've made from day one. So they're all.
And what are the costs?
They start at 20. Our small KeyBar Junior is about half the size of a standard KeyBar, and actually it's about 2/3 of the size. But it doesn't come with a pocket clip. Our pocket clips are titanium, and it doesn't come with the extended screws to get you 12 keys. It only holds 5 keys. And it can be extended. It just doesn't come with everything you need. And that's $20 is our entry. And then they go up to the world's most expensive key holder we have, which is solid silver with 57 black diamonds, and it gets crazy. But our standard is about 40 to $100 is where we're at, and that's going to get you something titanium with a nice pocket clip, and then you can. You could buy.
All right.
You can buy an expensive one.
What about a car? What about a car fob? I mean, I see you got car keys, but can they do that?
Yeah. So what we make, actually, our biggest selling product, we sell more of these than KeyBars, is the Magnut, and they're stuck. I could get up. I have to take my headphones off, but I have. It's called the Magnut. And basically, it looks like a nut and bolt, right? So it looks like a nut, but it has a loop in it to put a key ring in one end, and then it's a 6-pound neodymium magnet. You get a pair of them, and they quick connect together, and so your key fob would hang off of your KeyBar from the Magnut. And then, so if you have your key, big car key or whatever, you can just disconnect it from your KeyBar. Then that weight's not hanging on your ignition. We make them in 3 different sizes. We have 6, like 18 pounds. Then we have a 44-pound one to hold our hammers. We make a hammer, a big billet aluminum mallet.
Okay.
And so, but the Magnuts, like I said, our biggest seller. They do really
Well,
well, and those are for people that don't even have KeyBars. They just a really cool way to hang stuff, or have a
interesting.
quick connects.
Well, this
Um,
brings me to my other question. And I'm assuming that you've covered this before, but like I so at my house I have this magnetic uh sort of like a magnetic picture on the wall, but it's made for me to put my keys on this magnet. Do you have a magnet on the key bar sometimes that people can use to say put on the refrigerator just so they don't have to put it anywhere?
well, that's what the magnet's for.
Okay.
Actually, if you can't see, but
But you don't
right,
have a magnet that goes along
right,
the side of it that you can just stick on the fridge?
no, because no, because we keep everything non-ferrous and non-magnetic in the key bar. There's actually one hanging from the rafter right there.
Okay.
There's a whole set of 32 keys stuck to the rafter on a magnet. I slung it up there one day and it's never come down. But basically, the magnets are small. They're about the size of your pinky nail. They're a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch magnet, with a little billet of aluminum around it.
I see.
So it's not very big and it hangs right off. And so that's the
And
best
that would
option.
go on it. Okay. That
Yeah, then you could just throw it across the room and it would literally it would hold 6 pounds either side.
But you
So
don't have it where it's just a magnetic strip down the
no,
side and you can just stick it on something.
no, that no, because then you're getting into sticking to stuff. Um, you know, no, I
Hmm.
it would be one of those things where there would have to be a reason to do it, right? To negate the magnet.
I
We
see.
don't want to take away from our biggest seller. Kind of, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah. I
still
guess
there?
so. I guess
Oh,
so.
sorry.
And so, the letter opener feature that I came up with, we were talking about giving it a name, a specific
Yeah, I don't
shout
know if he
out, or
named it. What is it? What do you want to call it?
I,
I don't even know what he called it, so I haven't seen the website, so I have no idea what he put up there. It,
I,
it probably says letter opener.
yeah, I'll tell you what it says.
I have
But
no idea.
I'm just so honored that you uh and amazed that you would just take a product that I mean, even though you say it takes you a year to start using a machine, yet I
Well, that
literally
was initially the initial right dive into it to
right.
CNC machining. Now,
So
I mean,
this is it says titanium letter opener insert. Uh Sometimes
I'm
you have
telling
very
you,
important.
I'm gonna call it the Noah.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome. The
I'm
Noah
gonna
letter
watch.
opener.
I'm gonna. I'm I'm gonna walk in there and tell him to change it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't give him
I'm
very
gonna
much
totally put
instruction.
that on social.
Do it.
Um, do you have anything else you want to say to the people of the
No, man.
world?
I mean, there's a bunch of different people that could be listening to this. You could be, you sell used CNC machines, so you probably hit both types, right? You hit the companies trying to buy machines and improve their processes or more production or new capabilities, right? Kind of like what we're doing now. And you probably get the guys that are in their garage that really need a bigger machine and are scared or never had a machine like I was that are scared to purchase one because they're just not familiar with them right enough.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and and my biggest thing with is, you know, I have a few sayings. One's nobody's going to build your castle for you. All right.
wow,
And so and if you think about it, right, nobody's going to make your life better for you other than yourself. So no matter what it is, your passion, your drive, don't be scared enough to not do it. If there's a lot of people out there that will help you. I guarantee if somebody called you and asked you about a machine, you didn't have an answer, and you're going to maybe connect them with somebody, and maybe that guy, you know, it relieves the stress or worry this person had or whatever. So, or if you have a process you can't handle, I mean, there's people out there that'll help you. You're never really alone with Google nowadays. And so, you know,
That is some words of wisdom.
just take the dive if you have a dream and go for it, because man, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. And so if you got something you want to do it now.